everyone. Just out here running through another little episode of our WTP Sports Dudes pods. We got post game here. Got running over there, running his post game 86 podcast. You find him. He's got some good takes on some Notre Dame stuff. How's things going in your world?
Man, everything is lovely. Why I can't see you on the screen though?
I don't know. Myself and add myself back. Let me try this.
There we go.
Let's go. Yeah, that'll work better. I don't know what's going on. No, not that one. Let's go with that one. We'll just leave it there.
Cool.
Yeah, I don't know. That was weird. I was like, where am I? But you could hear me, so I knew I was alive. I just didn't know where I was. Yeah, just rolling through another glorious week. Had a little podcast last night we did for some high school stuff in Texas, and hopefully the snow holds off and we can get my NASCAR race in tomorrow. So we're gonna see.
Yeah, this snow got to find itself something to do.
Yeah, it needs. I can tell you a few things it needs to do. Man, I am sick and tired of looking at it. Yeah, got a little college basketball action going on tonight. A couple of good games in the SEC. The rest of the games are kind of blowouts right now, but we'll jump in. I know Robert threw some questions together, so we'll go ahead and throw them out there. First one's going to be a little interesting. I think you and I are probably going to agree on this because we normally do. But should the Ravens and Bengals be having discussions in the back door about trading Lamar or Joe Burrow to see what they could get for them?
Oh, man, I'm going to say absolutely not. And the reason I'm going to say not is because when you have franchise quarterbacks, that's something that doesn't grow on trees. So if I got a franchise quarterback, which both the Bengals and Ravens have, I'm not trying to deal them. Now, I get the point where people say you want to get rid of a scrambling or running quarterback before it's too late. But in Lamar Jackson's case, I don't believe he's just a running quarterback. And the reason I say that is because he has more passing touchdowns than rushing. Let's not forget, he had a season where he had, 41 touchdown passes, his last MVP season. He's had 30 plus in seasons and 20 plus touchdown passes in multiple seasons. So it's not like Lamar Jackson can only scramble and run the ball. He's actually a pretty good pocket passer, and that's without an elite number one wide receiver. In Joe Burrow's case, I would never trade away a franchise quarterback. But if he's unhappy in Cincinnati, that's the only way I would consider it. And I'm getting a king's ransom for him if I do decide. But all in all, SEC, I'm not trading either one of those guys. I don't even want to talk about it.
Right. I agree 100% with that. I mean, I get getting rid of a runner, more of the dual threat quarterback in the NFL before they get too old. I don't think Lamar's there. And I do think he's a good thrower of the ball. He's not like a Vince Young, who was really good running, but didn't know where the ball was going to go when he did throw it. So I don't see that. I don't see him getting gone. Take last year out. I mean, he was injured a lot last year, and a lot of that's not, it was just, things that are going to happen, hamstrings, things like that. I mean, that's not that any player can have that. So Burrow, I don't know that he's not happy in Cincinnati. I think he just wants more. And when Joe Burrow's healthy and that team's healthy, that is one of the most dynamic offenses there is in all of football. but he's frustrated because they can score 40 points a game, but their defense is giving up 45. And, you know, you got to keep him healthy. And so if you're going to trade him, you're right. Franchise quarterbacks don't grow on trees. But if you can't, if you're going to trade Burrow, I mean, the asking price has got to be astronomical for him. I don't think they should do it, and I think it's not even something that should be considered. But I never thought Luka would be traded from the Mavericks either. So never say never in these business deals, you know.
Hey, real quick, where you think Giannis gets traded to?
Man, I don't know. I've been trying to keep an eye on this. I keep seeing Golden State. I've heard some little rumors about maybe Draymond and somebody else to Milwaukee. I don't know. I don't know. I've heard people mention other things, but Giannis needs to go somewhere that can win now. I mean, he's not getting any younger. Yeah. And one take right there, Warriors or New York. I could see New York as a big option too.
You know what somebody mentioned to me today at work? They mentioned OKC.
Wow.
Would that be nuts?
I mean, good Lord, dude.
They loaded with draft picks.
Right.
They could swoop out of nowhere and be like, no, we taking Giannis. Everybody else fall back. If they wanted to, I don't know if they would want to, you know, mess up that team's chemistry.
That's the trick. Does Giannis throw off the chemistry that you have with that team? But man, that'd be interesting. And I don't think so, to be honest with you. I don't think he throws off the chemistry post, because I think he's been there. He's done that. He's a professional. I think he would be wanting a ring, a ring. He wants the ring.
Yeah.
I honestly think he would just say, okay, I need to be the backup plan. Fine. I honestly think he would be okay with it to get the ring.
Interesting.
It'd be real interesting if he went to OKC, though. There'd be a lot of people screaming that this season's over.
That's for sure. That's for sure.
So yeah, I mean, he's going to be the interesting one to watch. We'll see how that plays out. I'm just, that's the big chip that's out there right now. There's been a couple of trades today. The Bulls made a trade with the Knicks. I think Jaren Jackson Jr. got traded too. So I haven't looked at all of them yet.
Yeah, it's interesting to me. It seemed my bad, but it
no,
seemed
you're
like
good.
Seemed like the Bulls were trading for guards.
Right.
A lot of guards.
I don't understand that.
I didn't know what to make of it.
Unless maybe they're going to get some guards and try to package them for something else. I mean, maybe. I don't know what their option is. I did notice that was weird, though. You can only have so many guards on the floor at the same time. So I don't know what's going on there. Next little topic is, what's the bigger snub? Terrell Owens or Bill Belichick not being a first ballot Hall of Famer? And do you think their histories of being, a little crazy and whatever, and having some stuff tainted on their legacy has an effect on that?
Man, I think they both were snubbed. I think both of these men deserve to be first ballot Hall of Famers. Terrell Owens, we can start with him. He's top three in my book at the wide receiver position. I know a lot of people had to say some things about his locker room antics and whatnot, on the field antics. Some teammates love him, some teammates did not love him. Some coaches loved him, some coaches did not love him. But to me, the Hall of Fame is all about your career, your accomplishments, your stats. I don't agree with Skip Bayless much, but he broke it down perfect for me when he said that can we tell that generation, can we tell the story of that generation without mentioning you? And if we can do it without mentioning your name, you're not a Hall of Famer. Terrell Owens easily should have been a first ballot Hall of Famer, as well as Bill Belichick. And I know people are going to say Deflate Gate. Uh, uh, what was the other one?
Spygate.
Spygate, Deflategate, all these other things. They're going to say he diminished his legacy by going to college. I don't care. Tom Brady still won a Super Bowl without him. I don't care what that dude did with the New England Patriots and throughout his coaching career. If that's not first ballot, I don't know what is. And I heard an interesting stat, SEC.
What's up?
Tom Brady had a top 10 defense 75% of the time he hiked the ball. I think the next closest was like man, don't quote me on this. I want to say 30%. The next closest. Tom Brady had a top 10 defense 75% of the time he played football. Amazing. So I think that speaks to Bill Belichick.
Well, of course. I mean, we all know Brady. It was great. Okay. And again, Bill Belichick, you got Brady in the 6th round or whatever. But Terrell Owens, of course. I'm not a big fan of Terrell Owens off-field antics and stuff. Never was, but you're dead on. A Hall of Fame is the Hall of Fame, not the code of conduct. The dude's not in jail for murder or anything like that. He was a little crazy sometimes. Name me a wide receiver that isn't a little crazy sometimes. So Terrell definitely should have been. Bill most definitely should have been in. I'm sorry. I mean, there is no just. I get Spygate, Deflategate. You mentioned the dude needs to be in first ballot Hall of Fame. There's no reason he shouldn't be. So yeah, I think they were both snubbed, and I think their so-called tainted histories is the reason why. And I don't think it's right for either one of them. I'm sure there's numerous other people in the Pro Football Hall of Fame that probably did worse than T.O. did and Belichick. So, yeah, I don't. Yeah, I love T.O. I mean, Doug Jones, I love T.O. Never took a playoff. Yeah, you're right. I mean, Tom, I don't know who that is, but this person.
I don't either. You know what really made me love T.O. as far as his game was him breaking his leg and still playing in the Super Bowl and having a great game in the Super Bowl.
Right. I still don't know how you do that.
That was amazing. They should have won that game.
Oh, easy. But I don't get that. I don't see how you do something like that to your leg as a wide receiver and play. I don't understand that. I mean, shout out, because it sure as hell ain't going to be me. I'm going to be laying on the ground grabbing my stuff. All right. But so, Jaren Jackson went basketball purgatory is what FanDuel said. I don't know where basketball purgatory is.
Utah.
Is that where you went?
Yeah.
Okay. I never realized it was basketball purgatory, but okay. Okay. Now, see, look at that. Learn something new every day. Um, so we'll get into a little bit of the Super Bowl is what, 5 days away, 4 days, something like that. You looking for a good game, or you think it's going to be a blowout?
Man, I want to lean good game. I think I one of the worst things that can happen in the Super Bowl is it being a blowout. I think, unless it's that one fan base that team is executing a blowout, then I'm sure they love that. But all in all, I want to see a good game in the Super Bowl. I don't want to see a blowout. I think a lot of people think Seattle uh, is this juggernaut team, and believe me, Seattle is definitely a great team. But are they unbeatable? Absolutely not. I think New England has the type of roster to give this Seattle team a lot of trouble. Do I favor Seattle in this game? Absolutely. But I don't think it's going to be one sided, as I've been hearing a lot of lately. They just think Seattle is going to wipe New England off the field, and I don't think that's going to be the case. So I'm a lean towards a close game. I really like Drake May. I like those running backs with Stevenson and the kid from Ohio State. I think Stephon Diggs is going to be a load to deal with. And a lot of people aren't talking about the corner Gonzalez from New England. I would have him shadowing uh, JSN all game. I don't care where he line up at. You stay on JSN because low key, Gonzalez is one of the better corners in the NFL. And I think for them to have some success against Seattle, he has to cover him 24/7.
Yeah, see, I agree. I think he has to. Um, it has to be a mirror coverage with him wherever he is. You are. Um, I do lean Seattle in this game. I do think I lean Seattle, but I'm not going to be totally shocked if New England wins it. Um, I do think New England has the roster. I think New England has the coach to keep that roster, laser focused. Um, a lot's going to depend on May. I mean, how do the two quarterbacks really handle this spotlight, so to speak? It is going to be the telltale, and I think at least Darnold has some playoff experience, I believe, with Minnesota. So, I mean, it's not the Super Bowl, but it's still playoff more experience than Drake May has. Um, I do like New England's running attack, and if New England can run the ball, I think that's going to be their key in this. Is they have to take the pressure more off of May. I think more than Seattle has to take the pressure off of Darnold, if that makes sense. Um, I expect a close game. I know I just looked it up. The line is Seattle is favored by 4.5. So, it's not a crazy, 7 or 8 point spread in the Super Bowl, thank God. But uh, yeah, I hope it's a good game. I'll be tuned in, of course. Everybody in pretty much will be tuned into it. But I hope it's not one of those games where you're just so excited for the commercials more than you are the game. Which I love the commercials. Don't get me wrong, advertisers. Any of y'all that want to sponsor us, come on. But I don't want the game to be all about the commercials. So,
100%.
you I'm sure we're going to break that down a lot more coming up. Thursday, Friday, Saturday, probably be way more in depth.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Um, I don't know. This topic here, I mean, we can hit on this one. Is the NCAA handcuffed since they haven't been able to get a handle on NIL and the portal? Should the NCAA just be gone? And
Go ahead.
All right, I'll go then. I think they don't have any teeth. I think they're afraid of everything that moves. They're afraid of the shadows. Anything that moves freaks them out. You now got the kid from Tennessee, Joey Aguilar, suing for another year. They're not doing anything about it. They're just letting the courts handle it all. So what purpose does the NCAA serve? If the NCAA can't come out and say, this is the rules, this is how it's going to be, and enforce it, then what purpose are you serving? Get out of here. Just let the court system, I guess, and let the conferences figure out how they want to do things themselves. I mean, I don't know. That's just how I feel about it. I feel the NCAA is pretty useless right about now.
Yeah, I agree 100%. I don't, at this point, SEC, I don't even understand what the NCAA function is at least when it comes to the football side of things. Like, I don't get it. All their decisions are overturned. You know, they can't get the portal and NIL controlled. Like, I think we seeing the beginning of the end for the NCAA when it comes to football. They're gonna pretty much govern themselves. They're gonna find some way or some entity. But I mean, Rob's dead on with this question. The NCAA has zero teeth.
100%. I mean, 15 years ago, you never heard of the NCAA asking for Congress to help. They wanted Congress to stay away because they didn't want to know about all these under table deals they were cutting. But now they're like, we need help. And I'm like, what do you need help for? You're the governing body. Make a rule. 5 years. Okay, now we all know I have 5 years I can play football. You can transfer one time, and then after that, you lose a year of eligibility. Okay, now I know this. Your roster, you get $20.5 million to spend on your football or your athletic program, however you choose. Okay, and you have to document in contracts the money. Make rules and stick by them. So, I mean, you know, sports league pro teams, baseball, basketball, football, hockey have rules that the school. Now, baseball is a little different. We won't even get into that because the Dodgers are just spending whatever they want. But they have salary caps. And if you go over, yes, you can go over, but there's a penalty. You know, and if you go too far under, they also used to, I don't know if they still do, they used to penalize for not spending enough to be competitive. So you're telling me that you can't figure out how to follow one of those models and it's already laid out for you. The NCAA could go to these sports leagues and be like, can you help us write rules? I bet they'd help them. Doug Jones popping in, looking for a good Super Bowl. Seattle looks strong, but he's likes Drake May. His teammates are down for him. You can see that. Well, yeah. I mean, I hope so. After leading New England to where nobody thought New England would be in this point. Nobody, and maybe the diehardest New England fan, but nobody else even had New England in the playoffs.
Yeah, I agree. I felt like Drake May was going to have a good season. I felt like they would improve. Did I see them winning the NFC East? Absolutely not. I thought Buffalo would. Did I see them making the Super Bowl? Absolutely not. So, I mean, kudos to them, man. But like you said, I don't think anybody called that one.
No, nobody I would have known of. So congrats. I mean, hell, we went from there's previous podcasts we've done post game where we was talking about, is Baker Mayfield the MVP? And then about midway through the season, it kind of switched to, is Drake May the MVP? So, the growth of that kid is pretty good. I mean, he was good in college, don't get me wrong. But no, I don't think anybody looked at him as a franchise quarterback, did you?
I felt like he could be developed. I
Okay.
didn't think his development would be this fast. He looks amazing. Like I always knew he had talent coming from North Carolina,
Right.
but I thought it would be a few years. Hey man, check this out though. The Clippers are trading James Harden to the Cavaliers for Darius Garland in a second round pick.
I don't know if I like that trade for
I wouldn't
Cleveland.
have did it. I wouldn't have did it.
Harden's game's too. You got Donovan Mitchell there.
Yep.
Who's your scorer? Your scorer. Garland, he's a good point guard, man.
Yeah.
I don't know. I wouldn't have made that trade. I'm with you. I don't. Nah. Who else they getting? Darius Garland and who? Did they give up 2 or 1?
So they traded James Harden for Darius Garland in a second rounder.
I still think you gave up too much for Cleveland.
Yeah. I mean to have Harden and what's my man's name?
Donovan.
Yeah, to have Harden and Mitchell. I don't know, man. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't either.
They're gonna have to show me with that one, man.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to see something there because that just seems like you just traded for a player you already have on your roster, and you gave up something you probably don't have on your roster.
Yeah. No dice for me.
Yeah, me neither. I'm with you. So speaking of the NBA, good little segue there. I like what you did. Wanted to know, will you see the NBA move to a different country with the All-Star game? Like maybe it goes to Brazil or Mexico or somewhere else. Do you ever think it would leave to go to another country?
Maybe. Maybe sometime down the line. You know where would be a perfect spot for the All-Star game if the United States didn't have so many issues with them? Be China. China would be a perfect All-Star weekend host. But and I don't want to get political, but China and United States are always going back and forth about something. But I mean, I think it would make perfect business sense to move the All-Star game to a country like China. That would be huge. They love basketball in China. But anytime in the next 10 years, maybe on the latter half of the 10 years, maybe, but in the next 4 or 5, but who knows with this NBA commissioner, man, he like to try different wild things. So maybe that does happen in the next couple of years. But I mean, if it was me, I would expect it to be somewhere down the line and not anytime soon.
No, I think I agree with you. I could see it. China. There was a few spots that popped up when you were talking China for sure. Australia popped up. Basketball's big down there. And of course, you've always got your France, Spain, places, Europe areas around there. The problem I see with it is the logistics of doing it. You would almost have to take longer off for the All-Star break versus that weekendish, like couple days. You'd have to almost take a week and a half off for all the logistics to ship all the players over, get everything, move back, so, and then still come back and play your regular season game. So, now, could I see, if you want to talk about another country, could I see it go to Mexico or Canada? Yeah, easy. It's probably been in Canada with Toronto up there or Vancouver when they were there. So, but could I see a Mexico? Yeah, I think Mexico could be done really easily. Obviously, Brazil and, stuff is a little harder because of just the sheer logistics of travel. NASCAR went to Mexico City last year, just Mexico City. It was a logistics nightmare. Was a phenomenal event. Everybody loved it. But getting that many people moved. Now, there's a lot more to move with a NASCAR team than an NBA All-Star team. But if you were going to do it, would you think about maybe doing something like a before the season All-Star, like an All-Star team of NBA players travel around and play different teams throughout the world?
Why couldn't they just make the All-Star break longer, a week longer?
Right, you could do that easy. I don't say easy, but you'd have to, with all these collective bargaining things and all this. So I could see it for sure. If they just extend the All-Star break, would just have to be. But where do you go? China, like I said, China's, they play, they love basketball in China. So, yeah, I could see it, but I agree with you, down the later part of 10 years, 10 to 15 year window is probably where I sit for it. What do we got down here in the comment? Oh, Doug, Philippines. Get out of here. Goofy. Man, quit scrolling. So this is a little longer question, but we'll go through it. What should the NBA do to help some of the small market teams become more competitive? Or do titles by Toronto and Oklahoma City point at bad management of small market teams?
They probably could stop doing lottery to get the draft order and just go strictly by wins and losses for draft order. That would probably help the smaller market teams. But listen, man, like he said in the question, like OKC, teams like that, they've won a championship. Milwaukee, it wasn't too long ago, Milwaukee won a championship. So I do believe it's on, the ownership, the management team, and stuff like that for them to be successful in smaller markets. You got, if you're in a smaller market, you got to have buy-in from top to bottom. And that's exactly what the Oklahoma City Thunder organization is doing currently. They have buy-in. Everybody's bought in. And, as I've grown older and wiser, I realize not every franchise is trying to win an NBA championship or whatever sport it is. Not every franchise is trying to win. They there to collect money. It's a business for them. So, I mean, OKC prove they can be successful, and if they want to put hold on.
So yeah, I mean, while he's handling that, I mean, I agree with him. We'll let him jump back on when he gets on and keep making his point, but I agree with him. Taking the lottery away, the only thing I have with that, with taking the lottery away, is then you bring in the whole, our team's going to start tanking to lose. So that's another aspect that would be brought up to it. But, I mean, other teams have done it. I mean, I don't know if you want to consider San Antonio a major market, but as far as a media market, San Antonio is not a major like a Dallas or Houston or anything. And they've won enough titles. So I was just kind of going there. I don't know if you heard, about the lottery being gone. I mean, that could bring in tanking back into the mix, which we don't want to even think about. And then I said, well, San Antonio is also another option because I don't consider San Antonio a major media market.
No.
So it's more of the OKC Toronto side, So, and they seem to do pretty well.
Yeah, I mean, those Toronto, OKC, those Milwaukee, those teams aren't too far removed from winning a championship. And OKC are the reigning champions. So,
Right.
I mean, I think the small markets are doing just fine in the NBA at least.
Oh, I agree 100% with that. And you made another point that I thought was really valid, that some of these owners of these smaller market teams aren't worried about a title. If they get one, great. But they're more concerned about what is my profit margin at the end of the season. You know, and it's not really fair for the fans of those teams, but I mean that's the nature of that animal, and so I don't know except giving them, I don't know, draft picks, but even then, if the owner's not willing to pay that guy when he gets older up and out of his rookie contracts and stuff, you're going to lose him anyway. So what's the point of a draft pick? So just my theory on that one. Um, but I do think smaller teams have proven they can win the title. He flipped it over here a little bit, and we went into the Winter Olympics with them fixing to kick off here in a couple of weeks, I think. Do you have a favorite Winter Olympics event? And why do you think the U.S. doesn't do as well as they do in the Summer Olympics?
Bruh, I'm going to keep it funky with the people. I do not watch Winter Olympics. I barely watch Summer Olympics unless, like, I try to catch the boxing and, of course, the basketball. But outside of that, Winter Olympics, definitely not. I couldn't even tell you who was who won gold, none of that. I haven't. Winter Olympics, what is that, like skiing, snowboarding? Yeah, I haven't. I don't think I've ever watched that, my man. And, the other part of the question, uh, I have no clue. So the floor is yours.
Hey, that's why we do these things, man. Some people know stuff about other sports, and some don't know nothing about none. That's why we do it all. I do enjoy the Olympics, both of them, the summer and the winter. Don't watch them near as much as I used to. Back, I can remember the '84 games when Carl Lewis and them was just dominating. Um, it's harder to follow the Olympics for me now because here lately they're in other countries and the stuff's on at like 4 in the morning or something. And then by the time you wake up, the results are already in, and then they show the thing the next night. And I'm like, well, I've already know who wins. Why am I don't need to watch this now. So as far as Winter Olympics, there's a few events I really like. I love watching like the bobsled and these people lay on the sluges and these sleds and slide down there. I think that's insane. I like watching ski jumping mainly because I like to see if anybody's going to wreck when they land. And then I love the hockey in the Winter Olympics, but my wife will tell you that I'm one of the weirdest people because I will watch them do that little curling where they roll and sweep with the little broom. I will watch that and be just enamored with it, and I don't know why. Um, but as far as why don't the U.S. do as well as they do in the Summer Olympics, I honestly think it goes back to the sports that are in the Summer Olympics are more of the mainstream pushed sports in America. Your track and fields, even your boxing, whatever, basketball, the baseball, if they're doing baseball in the Olympics now. These are more of your Americanized type sports. And so more, that's why I think we do better in the winter than we do in the Winter Olympics. I just think there's a lot more competition for the U.S. in the Winter Olympics too. With you start getting all these winter events with skiing and stuff, and you got all these Switzerlands and Germanys and where it snows all the time. So to me, there's just more competition in the Winter Olympics that can compete with the U.S. So that's just how I look at the Olympics. Through this, When a college athlete's eligibility runs out, should they be allowed to appeal? Or should the appeal happen a few years before their eligibility runs out?
I think they should be able to appeal, like during their last year. When if they don't really know, like if they try to appeal for another year, their sophomore year or freshman year, like they don't. By the time you a fourth or fifth year senior, you already know, your career trajectory. Like you know where you probably going in the draft. You know if this team doesn't want you or that team wants you or whatnot. So I don't think they need to push it back. I mean, maybe you can convince me otherwise if that's your argument, but I don't see any reason for them to declare early. Maybe if they get hurt, a devastating injury, and they like, okay, I want to stay in college, and I know I'm gonna need so many years to get back to where I want to be, or whatever the case may be. Maybe then I can see it, but I don't think that's kind of. Don't you think that's a little disingenuous? You trying to apply for an extra year of eligibility as a freshman or sophomore? So I mean, I would keep it as it is. Although I think you should only be allowed to have 5 years of college unless something devastating happens to you. Then I can see another year, but 5 years, keep it moving for me.
Yeah, I'm spot on with you with the 5 year thing. I understand the injury thing. Let's say it is your like fourth or fifth year, and you second game of the season you shatter your knee or your leg and you're out. I believe maybe then you should get an extra year for like a medical redshirt year. I can give you that. But these guys that have played 4 years or 3 years in JUCO, Joey Aguilar is the prime example from Tennessee. Played 3 years in JUCO and 2 years in Division One. He's played for 5 years. He started playing in 2019. This will be his sixth year. You're done, man. You're done. And everybody talks about Owen Henneke, or I think that's how you pronounce his name. He's another one that's trying to get another year. But he came out in 2020, or no, it was Pavia. Sorry. Pavia came out in 2021. He's technically still under his eligibility years. So, should they be able to? No. Not apply as a freshman. You're right. A freshman or sophomore, bro. You may realize your junior year, you don't even really like football no more and just give it up. But yet you've already applied for another year, but you're not even going to play. And you're right. When you're a junior or senior, you know pretty well, okay, I'm going to get drafted or I need to put some more work in to get drafted. You pretty much know at that point of your career. So, I mean, if you're going to appeal, I guess, but let's just stop all this and just go 5 years flat. 6 with a medical red shirt if you have a devastating injury. And I'm not talking about I pulled a hamstring and missed 2 games. That's not a devastating injury, bro. The guy from A&M we've talked about with when he hurt his neck against Notre Dame. That's a devastating get another year of eligibility type stuff. This is getting out of hand post game. We spent more time in the offseason, and the offseason of college football is only a month old. We've spent more time discussing eligibility than we have basketball. There's something wrong with that mix of what we're talking about. In we should be talking Miami of Ohio won again tonight. They're still undefeated. Yes, they haven't played the toughest schedule. We're not even talking about this. We're not talking about some of the other good games that are going on. We're talking about should this quarterback get a 7th year, 6th year? We're talking about the wrong things, I think. And I get these are topics that people want to hear and talk about. I get that. And I'm willing to give my opinion on anything, much as you are. I think we can find better things to talk about than eligibility.
100%. So let me ask you this:
Go ahead.
if you were the Lakers would have pushed LeBron James to waive his no trade clause and trade him to somewhere like Cleveland?
Yes. The face of that franchise is not LeBron right now. It's Luka. LeBron, everybody who's watched me knows he is not my favorite player in the league. I don't really even like LeBron. What he has done for basketball is good, and he's great, and he's a great player. But he's kind of like that. You either love Isaiah Thomas or you hate Isaiah Thomas to me. It's just where I'm at with LeBron. He did a lot. He's done a lot for people in the city of Cleveland and stuff, and that's fine. He's not the face of your franchise anymore at the Lakers. You made the trade for Luka, and you're not gonna build around LeBron. You're gonna build around Luka. So if I was them, I'd say, look, this is the direction we want to go. We have the option to ship you back to Cleveland to play in Cleveland. Would you be willing? And you could have even made it sweeten the pot for Cleveland and said, give us a 2029 draft pick for him. So that's my thought process is I would have tried. You're more into the NBA basketball than I am, so let me get your thought on
that. Here's the issue. I believe LeBron, his son plays for the Lakers, right? And you got his younger son who plays at Arizona. That's out west, right? So I think the issue was him not wanting to be that far away from his children. I think, I got some reservations about LeBron as an athlete, but I have none as a father from what I've seen from afar, right? But I think that with his son being a Laker and his other son being an Arizona Wildcat, I don't think he really wanted to go out to the Midwest at this point in time. Maybe in the off season, who knows? But I think that's the biggest issue for LeBron James because he knows he's not the man in LA anymore. He know that time has passed. It's Lucas teams now, so that would be the only issue I would see.
Yeah, I didn't take the dad aspect into it, and I will say that he's not one of my favorite players in the NBA. That's all there is to it. But I will never. I'm not going to question the man's integrity and morale compass. I'm not going to do that. He's never done anything that made me think he's a terrible human being. I've heard him mention, when people have given him grief about the Lakers drafting his son, and he straight up just came out and said, whatever they want to do. I mean, I'm going to support my son, I respect that side. But it is Luka's team. And I can see your point, not wanting to leave the West to go back over to Cleveland when his kids are both out West. So I get that aspect of it 100%. And they weren't going to trade him anywhere out there. They're not going to trade him to the Jazz or the Suns or the Clippers or something. They're not going to do that. So they were going to trade him. He was going to the Eastern Conference.
So I know you watch college basketball. I know a lot of people have been on Debassa, but this kid Peterson from Kansas, real deal, Holyfield.
Yeah,
but his only issue is that he hasn't been able to stay healthy. With that being said, who would you take number one? Would you take Peterson? Or would you take Debassa or somebody else?
Boozer.
You would take Boozer number one overall?
I would. Well, okay, let me justify. Who's drafting number one? What do you already have?
Yeah.
Because let's go back. We can all go back to the magic time machine. Do you think the Portland Trailblazers want to draft Sam Bowie again? I don't think they do.
Absolutely not.
But they had all said we already had Clyde Drexler. We didn't need Michael Jordan.
Yep.
Well, let me tell you a little secret. So, who's drafting number one? I like Boozer. I like him a lot.
Yeah.
I honestly think it's a three-way race for the number one draft pick, to be honest with you. Peterson is special, though. But he can't stay healthy. You're exactly right. And you're not seeing the full Peterson right now. I honestly think he's on the load limit right now to try to get ramped to play more as the tournament. We all know Kansas is going to be in the tournament. Let's just call it what it is. But do you want a 70% Peterson or a 95% when it comes tournament time? So I think Kansas, Bill Self and them are being smart, and they're letting him play. He played a half and barely played played a little bit in the second half. And then you'll start seeing that amp up to where he'll be doing, 16, 15 minutes and a half, 15 minutes and a half. You'll start seeing it amp up. But I honestly think he's electric. He's fun to watch, but he's got to stay healthy. And I think AJ, to be honest with you, I think you even mentioned this too. When teams have wanted to, they've shut him down. Good teams. Okay?
Oh yeah.
Arizona put the clamps on him. Kansas put the clamps on him. Pretty much, he's going to get his numbers eventually. But when he comes across a good team, they have a way to stop him. So if you're the number one draft pick, you're probably not going to a real good team in the NBA. So people are going to focus like we're focusing on Cooper Flagg most of the year for Dallas. Let me stop Cooper Flagg. But I'm not sure you can go wrong with any one of them based on what your needs are at that time. Good question, though.
I agree with that. Yeah, I agree with that. I don't think you can, and maybe even you throw a Caleb Wilson in there. I really like Caleb Wilson from North Carolina. Just an athletic freak, double guy, get you some blocks as well. Maybe he's right outside those three, but definitely the top three.
Still got Toppin.
You still got who?
Toppin.
Still got Toppin. Haggerty.
Right.
Yeah, it's bruh. I seen a mock. The first 12 picks were all freshmen.
This freshman class is nasty.
Yeah.
I mean, we've had the Fab Five in our generation that we thought would never be seen again, that kind of talent. And bro, this group, now that was one team. This group has, good Lord. I mean, everywhere you turn around, there's a freshman dropping a 40 piece on somebody. I'm like, what? And the other weekend, what was it, like 3 or 4 freshmen scored 40? The kid from Houston, the kid from Illinois, AJ, and another one, I think, from Auburn. It was a kid from Arkansas. That point guard from Arkansas is nice if you ain't watched him, number 5.
Ed Cuff?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I like him.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's nice.
You talk the freshman from Illinois, too. I can't remember his name.
Yeah, Williams or something like that, maybe.
Yeah, he been getting off, too.
Yeah.
He had 40-something that night also.
Yeah, I've never seen that many freshmen score like that. It's going to be interesting. Player of the year, like I said, I still think it comes down to those 3. One of those 3 is going to win the player of the year, the Wooden Award, whatever you want to call that. We talked about it the other day. I still think Arizona's your front runner for national title pick, but I wouldn't be surprised if Duke, wouldn't be surprised if Kansas got hot. There's so many other teams that could just get hot. But we didn't even really mention UConn. UConn's like that team that's always really good. They're like the East Coast Gonzaga. You don't ever hear about them really. You don't pay attention to them until it's too late and they're in the dang Sweet 16 and the Final Four and raising the. That's what they are. They're the East Coast Gonzaga.
Yeah, definitely. On the men's side, women's
Right.
side, they just dominate.
Yeah, women's side, you can. I've penciled them in all the way through the bracket already. God, they're bad. They're good.
Yeah,
And that amount of sustained success in any sport is insane.
yeah, that's nuts.
Man,
That's nuts.
You know, you got throw these last two questions he's got out here. Should coaches have to finish out their contracts before they can be hired elsewhere? If you're not going to hold players to contracts, why are you going to hold coaches?
Nah, I mean, if they were going to do that, they should have did that decades ago. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah,
it's too late for that, man.
Yeah.
It's like that. Nah, man, it's too late for that. That's over and done with.
And then, his last one was, should there come a time where coaches can only sign a year-to-year contract? Never happened.
I don't see it happening.
Is it nice in theory? And I understand his point to kind of stop all these buyouts and stuff. I understand his point. Good point to make, but these coaches aren't negotiating their own deals anymore. They've got all these agents. This Jimmy Sexton guy, everybody's heard him. He's got like half the coaches in his thing. Jimmy Sexton's not going to be like, if I'm A&M and I want Marcus Freeman and I come and I'm like, okay, look, we'll give you 1 year at $8 million, but Notre Dame's offering me 10 years at $100 million. Well, why am I going to go take a 1 year deal when I may not have a job next year and I'm going to pass up? No. So I see your point, and it's a good point, Rob, but I just think we're past all this. I think coaches are more locked in. What I'd like to see go away is these huge buyouts for these coaches. I mean, when I get fired, I don't get a huge buyout from my company. Do you? Because if so, I'm coming to work where you work.
We should. Okay. We should have NIL deals and all that, man.
I'd probably be saying a lot more stuff that I really want to say to my bosses if I could get a buyout. Okay?
100%.
But I mean, not many places else can you get fired and make enough money to just set your family up for life.
Yeah.
These guys are getting 20, 50, 30. Jimbo Fisher got $75 million to leave.
How much did Kelly get again? You remember?
Was it in the 50s or 40s?
So I don't Jimbo had a bigger buyout.
Oh, yeah. Jimbo's had the biggest of all time.
Wow.
Yeah. Jimbo's was the one that's going to stop those huge buyouts from getting paid out. But the difference is in A&M, not that there's other programs that can't, y'all. I'm not saying that. But A&M's boosters paying $75 million off is a lot easier than, say, I don't know, pick a Oklahoma State, or that's a bad example because they got oil money up there. But you know what I'm saying? Like one of these, smaller Division I Power 5, Vanderbilt or something like that they're not going to have the money an A&M or a Notre Dame or a Texas or Ohio State would have to pay that buyout. Kentucky almost kept Mark Stoops for another year because they were afraid of his like $20 million buyout. So, these buyouts are just off the chain to me. I think it's way too much for some of what you get. Got a big game tomorrow night post game. You're going to tune in, Alabama, Texas A&M, Alabama.
SEC basketball?
Yeah.
Yes,
watch a little Bucky ball.
Yeah, I'm gonna be tuned in, man. I actually haven't had a chance to catch your Aggies this season, so this would be a perfect opportunity for me to watch them against Bama. So yeah, I'll
They're
definitely be tuned in.
they're fun to watch, man. They, like I said, I've mentioned, they remind me of the old Nolan Richardson about Hogs days. Just up in your face pressure, shooting fast, playing fast, up tempo, shooting threes. It's just what they do. Um, Fun team to watch. One of the more fun teams to watch, for my mind, especially because of what we had with Buzz Williams. That offense was pathetic. And he's not doing well at Maryland right now.
Yeah,
Um, yeah, that'll be a good game tomorrow. We
I
got a
know.
couple of good games this week.
I know. Big Monday. Next Big Monday is Kansas, Arizona. If I'm
Is
not.
it really?
Yep.
Oh, yeah, yeah. That's going to be a good one right there. Where
Oh
is
yeah.
that? Is that at Kansas or at Arizona? It's at Kansas.
Ooh.
That's going to be a tough one there.
Is A&M at home tomorrow?
No, we're on the road. Um, we're on the road at Bama, and then we're home for Florida.
Mm.
Yeah, that's not a 2-game stretch. It seems like a lot of fun, but
That's rough.
well, like I said, with what we've done so far, I'm content with this team. The last coach hired one player on the roster, and you built this team out of the portal, and you've got them to gel. And I don't care what anybody says, you're 7-1 in the SEC right now. So I think he's done a hell of a job. How we're 7-1 in the SEC and 16 or 17-4 overall and aren't even ranked, I don't know.
I don't think there's a ranked team in the SEC.
Oh yeah, there is.
Who's ranked?
Let's see.
Florida, Vanderbilt.
Vanderbilt 15, Florida
I don't know if I was
17.
looking at- Yeah, you're right.
We're just low. This isn't like last year. You had Auburn, Florida, all of them up near the top in the top 5, and this year your first SEC team is 15. But like you said, there's not a standout team in the SEC this year, but they've got some freakish athletes on every team.
Yeah.
So I don't really consider the SEC as a national title threat conference this year. I just don't see. Now, Florida could get hot and do it, but there'd be the one team I would think that could probably come out of this and do it. But
You'll be A&M can do it?
no, I think our lack of size is going to hurt us in the tournament as we get deeper.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't know. Losing the kid from Indiana, Mbakapo or whatever, really hurt. Like I said, our center's like 6'8". So, but we're fast. We play guards and we shoot threes. So, who knows? Can A&M win the national title? No, I don't see it. If they do, y'all better just kick me off this because y'all will never. I will be so obnoxious it won't even be funny post game. But I think they can make a run. I could see them a Sweet 16. Seriously. And if you'd have told me under the circumstances Bucky McMillan came in and took over, he was going to have this team in the Sweet 16, I'll take that all day. For year one, and he doesn't even have his players on the roster yet, really, I'll take that.
Oh, yeah.
I'll take that even if next year is a step back while he's getting his players. I'll take it.
Yeah.
Because it shows that we made the right decision. Not every coach you hire, whether football, basketball, or baseball, is going to be a home run hire first season.
Well, that's because you're a sensible fan. Some of these fans be wilding out, man. They expect you to win a championship your first year coaching. they'll, like you said, didn't even get the chance to get their players in.
Yeah.
The rebuilding season, get them out of there.
It used to be when you had a new coach, and you can admit this too, you were given 4 years.
Yep.
The first 2 to 3 years were just kind of, they needed to see improvement from year 1 to 2, 2 to 3. But that year 4, that was supposed to be the year where you said, no, we're here. Didn't have to win a national title, but you better go 10-2, 11-1 in college football, something like that. Because you had to get your players that fit your system. Same with any other sport we've ever seen. Basketball, same thing. Baseball last year, Texas A&M #1 preseason, super talent, most talented team in all of the nation. Didn't even make the NCAA baseball tournament. Their coach left to go to the University of Texas. The coach that took over was the hitting coach, and it just fell apart. But now where everybody's like, okay, well, we'll give you a pass with all the turmoil that went on the previous year, but now what are you going to do this year? So, coaches take time to build their stuff, man. Unless you're just dropped in. I mean, Cignetti took him 2 years? But it's a little different story with bringing all his players from JMU. But unless you're just dropped into a situation, you're normally not winning titles in your first year.
100%.
So just kind of where I'm at. But yeah, I mean, we got a lot of basketball coming up. Got track and fields cranking up. So it's going to be interesting. I haven't had a chance to go watch it yet, but I saw your thing about who were you asking about should be gone from Notre Dame?
Oh, Coach Ivy,
The men's coach?
the
Or the women's coach?
Which shocks me. Not this isn't my thought. A lot of the fan base were calling for her job, and I'm just like, why? Like 4 straight Sweet 16s in elite, the best recruiting class in Notre Dame women's basketball history. So it just shocked me that so many. Go ahead.
What did I miss? What happened to your old coach?
Who, Muffet?
Yeah.
She retired.
Did she really?
Mm-hmm.
I missed that. Not even gonna lie.
Yeah, she got a statue outside.
She should.
Yeah.
That's the one who recruited my girl Brianna up there. So yeah.
Oh yeah, Muffet is a legend.
No doubt. Yeah.
No.
I didn't know she retired. That's why I was like, who is he talking about? Ivy. That's why I thought it was the guy's coach.
No, I'm not gonna argue. If they want the men's coach to be gone, I'm not gonna argue against that.
Right. You're
Even
not
though
fighting that.
I think they're not gonna fire him for some reason. I don't think they're gonna fire him. But Coach Ivy, that's crazy for anybody to think she should be fired.
Yeah. I'll agree with that. I mean, 2 straight Sweet 16 should be enough to keep your job. But 4? Come on, man.
And that's why I was just like, one down year, and everybody ready to flip on you.
Yeah. That's the world we're in now. And at a program like Notre Dame, very, very storied program on the women's side basketball is what we're talking about. So give the ladies give them some time.
Yeah.
I mean, you're gonna have Connecticut had a couple of years where they were in the tournament and they made runs, but by Connecticut standards, they weren't Connecticut. They didn't win the national title every year, But nobody was screaming to fire the coaches either. Nobody's screaming to fire Dawn Staley out of South Carolina, and they're having kind of a down South Carolina year. Fans, man. I mean, I get it. I love some teams, but good Lord. You got to have some sense about this too, man. Let me go ahead and tell you, as somebody who has seen some what looked like really good coaching hires that turned out not to be really good coaching hires, aka Jimbo Fisher, aka Buzz Williams. The grass ain't always greener on the other side, y'all.
Facts.
You may not go to a fifth straight Sweet 16 this year, but you get rid of that coach and you may lose a bunch of them players, and then you may be at the bottom barrel of the ACC.
Yep.
Well, I guess nobody else wants to hang out with us tonight post game, so that'll be their loss. Everybody that's tuned in, watching, we appreciate all you guys in the comments. Zay, Doug, appreciate all y'all jumping in. Y'all see all the channels scrolling down there at the bottom, man. Go like, subscribe, post game. I'm telling y'all, you want some Notre Dame stuff and numerous other basketball, especially stuff that I see. Go right there. Go watch his stuff. You want to find some weird stuff? Come visit my channel, because I have no idea what I'm putting out most of the time. But we have fun with it, and that's all that we're here for. So go like, subscribe, hit the notification bell, share it, tell your friends, tell your grandmas, tell them all. Go check out the WTP Sports Dudes. We here for y'all. Other than that, post game, man, appreciate it tonight. Have a good evening, and we'll catch up later in the week, I'm sure.
Hey, you too, my man.
As we always do, brother. Peace out.